Hi, everyone. Best PR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. It's Week 12 in the NFL. We are talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, who's going to cover all three of the Thursday Thanksgiving Day games. Thus, Joe Duffy, of course, having a great season at his website, and he will tell us the specifics of that at the end of this video. Joe Duffy, thanks for being with us. The first game on Thanksgiving, Philly and Detroit, right? The Lions, a little bit of a resurgence. They beat Oakland. That's two straight nice wins and covers since the bye. Both unders, both very low scoring. And Philly, Mark Sanchez started. They got popped badly by Tampa Bay. The defense couldn't stop anyone. Sanchez had an okay game. He threw 3 interceptions, which will probably be a little bit better here. But, kind of the unreliability of Mark Sanchez doesn't surprise us at all. The obvious pick here, I guess, is Detroit, unless we want to expect the unexpected and expect Philly to make a radical adjustment with Mark Sanchez in there and on defense here. But unless we want to time that and make a bet on Philly doing that, Detroit pick'em or +1 is the play, right, Joe?
Actually, no, Peter. In fact, remember what I like to, expect the unexpected, or as I like to say, predictably unpredictable. That's what Matt Stafford is. The guy's a box of chocolates. Of course, they were off all year. The last 2 games, they've looked great. That just means they're probably going to come out flat. Now, it's interesting. There are conflicting reports. I'm now hearing there is a possibility Sam Bradford could play on Thursday. As we follow this, most reports say that it will be Sanchez again, but at least as we record this, that is not a 100% certainty. Truthfully, I think I'd like Philadelphia a little bit better with Sanchez because he's one of those erratic quarterbacks as well. He's a guy who can make plays, but he then sabotages it with the turnovers. But again, an erratic guy like that, the fact that he's coming off of a mistake-prone game, I think that he could bounce back and I look for Stafford to come out flat. Most importantly, it's one of those, I don't know if this qualifies as a contrarian thing or not, kind of fading the media, but as soon as you start hearing the media saying and fans saying that a team has quit on their coach, that's usually when you go with that team. The exception is, yes, sometimes in Week 17, maybe in Week 16, teams do kind of play out the string sometimes. But I'm just telling you, at the NFL level, teams do not quit on their coach. It's already now all the rumblings in Philadelphia. They're off a disastrous effort. And I think they hear that kind of chatter, and they usually rally around that. So I think Philadelphia's going to bounce back big here.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm personally not going to bet this game just because there's so many unknowns. My sense is normally I'd be looking for, an expect the unexpected type situation and a bounce back for Philly. The thing that makes me not want to bet Philly here is just that Detroit has had such a disappointing year. They've had such a bad season overall, and all of a sudden, they're starting to win a little bit. They've had a complete overhaul in terms of their management. So, a lot of times when teams like that, start to, pick it up a little bit, after having severely disappointed in the beginning of the season. We see this with like USC a lot of times in college football. They're not the kind of team that I want to look to bet against when they start getting better a little bit. And then, I guess just reading all the stuff in the media, it seems like Philly is just a complete mess and that they're not likely to bounce back here on a short week. But you think that all the stuff that we're reading in the media is reason to look to bet on them here?
Pretty much. I found definitely at the professional level that teams do generally bounce back, and it kind of makes sense. To get to this level, the players clearly have shown some ability to respond to adversity, and I really think that the players will rally around. Remember, they're in the NFC East, which along with what the AFC South, or the AFC division where the Colts are in. It's tough to keep track of these daggone divisions, but there are 2 horrible divisions in which you can win it with just 7 wins. So the Eagles are far from out of this. And again, we find a team off of a short week where they have a maximum of 3 days rest off of a 28-point or more loss is 6-3. Now that's not statistically significant, but that does favor the Eagles, and it does show the teams are resilient and have the ability to bounce back. And I also have an angle that actually says late in the season, especially to go with the team that has a significantly worse turnover ratio because, turnovers seem to be more of a lag indicator than a lead indicator, and you can make adjustments there. But anyway, that angle is 733 and 599 and favors the Eagles. But sometimes it is almost as simple. When I start hearing that a team has just flat out quit on their coach, which Philadelphia is the first rumblings I've heard this year, that always seems to be the time to go with that team.
All right, Joe. Well, that's a convincing argument. I think I've decided that I'm going to pass on this game as far as a bet's concerned, both as far as the side and the total are concerned. But right now we have a line of Pick'em or Detroit +1. Do you want to go with Philly Pick'em as an official pick here, Joe?
We will go with Philly as an official pick here.
Sounds good, Joe. And tell us a little bit in detail about how well you've done this year at your website. I know it's a good record, right?
Yeah, it's literally the greatest season ever recorded by any gambler from start to finish off of a winning week in football.
That can't be true, Joe Duffy. The single greatest season ever?
Absolutely, and I've been doing this a long time, and I'm aware. And even on our site, we do have something called the Master Lock Line, which is a consensus service. And I know it's been a kind of a so-so year for some of the sports services, but not here at Joe Duffy's Picks, folks. I'm talking about since preseason all the way through winning week in college and the NFL. Last week, it started out with a 3-0 Thursday. We skipped the Tuesday and Wednesday games, but it's been absolutely phenomenal. It's early in the week as we record this. Just visit offshoreinsiders.com for all the details, but I know I'm going to have some weeknight football this week.
All right, that sounds great, Joe. Joe Duffy on Philly Pick'em. Thanks so much, Joe.